Yeah, it's been great. We didn't expect my property to be as successful as it has, so we've been very fortunate. And the reviews that we get from guests are great, so it's lovely to hear that and getting repeat guests as well. It's just quite satisfying. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hello Hosty podcast. Today I am joined by Jessica Powell of Cosy Home Holiday Rentals, based out of Pembrokeshire, South Wales, United Kingdom. Hello, Jessica.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Would you like? Should we start with you giving us a bit of information about yourself and about your company?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So it's actually myself and my partner. We try and keep everything sort of in-house with the Cozy Holiday Homes. Um, Kind of just fell into it, to be honest. Coming up to 2 years ago, we put my property on Airbnb just to sort of see how it would go, and had surprisingly great success with it. And we're now in the process of renovating another property which we recently purchased, and hopefully that'll be ready soon. So my current property that we have is based in Carmarthenshire, but the new property is in Pembrokeshire. That's where we live, and my partner Chris also manages two other holiday lets for his family, which are also in Pembrokeshire, which is a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah. So I guess you've got quite a few holiday rentals that you're managing now. How did you get into it? What was the start of the process?
So when I met Chris, he was actually managing the two properties that his family own, and it just so happened to coincide with COVID, and I started working from home, so I didn't have to travel to the city because I worked in an office in Swansea. Um, so it meant that I could move back to Pembrokeshire because I'd spent my early 20s living here and loved it. So working from home gave me the flexibility to come back here, and then my property was empty. So Chris suggested putting it on Airbnb, and we had surprisingly great success with it. And it's allowed us to purchase the next property, and hopefully it will just carry on snowballing that way, and we'll end up with multiple properties soon.
Excellent. It sounds like you're having a good time doing it as well in the
Yeah,
process. Yeah.
I mean, at times it can be stressful, but yeah, no, it's mostly good.
Okay. So what's the biggest challenge that you face in business today?
So at the moment, the Welsh government has actually decided to make some changes, which is going to affect us. So there's a bit of uncertainty around that at the moment because they haven't clearly said exactly what will be happening and when, and it's also there's a little bit of discretion with the local councils as well. So the guidelines set by the government, um, some local councils may follow it, some may not. So it's things like paying a higher council tax, or having to have a higher occupancy rate if you have business rates. So the increase of that's been quite significant. It will now need to be 182 days occupied throughout the year. Previously used to be 70 something, so quite a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
The need for licensing, and then also planning permission. So having planning permission to change the use from a residential property to a holiday let. So again, there's uncertainty around that, whether or not it will affect current holiday lets or just new ones. So yeah, that's a bit of a
Right.
challenge that's going to be coming up for us.
Yeah. So it's the uncertainty around regulation that's the biggest challenge you've got currently.
Yeah, as well as obviously the cost of living crisis. People are not going to be spending as much. There's not as much, disposable income, but so far hasn't affected us too badly. May even go in our favour if people are deciding to staycation more often rather than going abroad. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, but that's
Yeah.
a possible challenge and difficulty that we may face.
And what do you spend most of your time doing as a host?
So like I mentioned earlier, we try and keep everything in-house.
Hmm.
So Chris does all of the cleaning and all the changeovers for the property. So he would say he spends most of his time driving and cleaning.
Hmm.
I spend most of my time answering messages, filling in my spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. So he must be doing a lot of running around if he's looking after that, the cleaning, and I guess as well the maintenance. Would he be doing the maintenance? Would you have people doing that?
Yeah, no, he does the majority of it, as much as we can, we try and do everything ourselves.
Mhm.
So there's quite a lot, especially with when the new property is ready. We will need to try and figure out how we're going to manage the four properties if we end up having four changeovers on one day, how that's going to work.
Mm.
So yeah, that's going to be something we're going to need to try and figure out going forward.
You might need some backup when you scale up a bit, because obviously with
Yeah,
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 we will at some point when we become successful enough.
yeah. So it's good that you sound like you're enjoying the journey anyway. I mean, it must be quite a lot of fun and quite a ride to be scaling, to growing this business.
Yeah, it's been great. We didn't expect my property to be as successful as it has, so we've been very fortunate. And the reviews that we get from guests are great, so it's lovely to hear that, and getting repeat guests as well. It's just quite satisfying. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah. With the two properties in Pembroke that Chris manages, they have swimming pools, so people love coming for the swimming pools in the summer. So they tend to get more direct bookings from repeat guests, whereas my property, we get a lot of workmen come in to stay. Um, so we get some repeat custom from them. They tend not to book direct, even though we message and try and encourage it.
Hmm.
I guess it's a business booking it. Maybe they just don't really
Yeah.
mind, paying a
Well,
bit
yeah.
more that way.
Maybe I think as well a lot of it is to do with the ease of them saying we need the accommodation, just do it now quickly. They're at work and they've got a million things on their to-do list. But I guess if you were to incentivize them with either a discount or with additional benefits, later checkouts, earlier check-ins, this kind of stuff, that could help sort of sway their attention to booking direct.
Yeah, potentially. That's actually an interesting point that you brought up, because I was thinking of having little cards at the property saying 10% off when you book direct next time. So maybe that's something that I need to do, because you've also suggested it there, a little
Yeah.
incentive for them.
I'd say in an approach like that, it's probably a good idea to have like multifaceted, in terms of like leave the cards, great one, send them an email, good one, text them as well, like sort of put it front of mind that's
Yeah.
an option for them. Um,
All that.
yeah, because if you're talking about like 15% difference in your income, then that's it's why there's a frenzy around direct bookings. So, do you have any other tools or hacks, let's say, that make your life easier in business?
Yeah, we use a website that takes care of the pricing for us, so that it's more dynamic, so that we don't have to spend ages comparing our prices to, other properties on the market. So that's quite good. We can just put in our minimum per night, maximum per night, and it does all the hard work for us. So that's much easier and saves us a lot of time. So I
Yeah,
do occasionally do my own research just to check, you know um, just to make sure that we are still competitive. But yeah, no, the website that we use is great for that.
yeah. I agree. Dynamic pricing tools save so much time, and they actually earn
Hmm.
you more money, I think, because they pick up where you, maybe it's not just a time thing. It's kind of like, well, you wouldn't necessarily have the uh, let's say available time yourself to go and make sure to raise prices as well as drop prices, so they can pick up
Hmm.
where you wouldn't have otherwise seen to do so. So I think they're an absolute win. I think they're totally worth the money. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah.
Just time saver.
So looking back, what advice would you give yourself starting out?
Probably not to start off with such low prices.
Ah, good
I think when
advice.
we first Yeah, we didn't know what it was going to be like. We didn't know how popular it would be, what people would be willing to pay, because there just wasn't really much else in the area. So yeah, I think we started off way too low, which we will not be doing with the next property when that goes live in a couple of months. We've done our research. We kind of have a price range in mind. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the advice I'd
fantastic.
give myself 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, some great tips there, and some good advice. If people would like to find out more about you and about your business, how will they go about doing so?
So they can find us on Instagram, Cosy Holiday Homes, and you can check out our website, which is Vacation 10B, and you can see all the properties on there and book direct.
Excellent, excellent. Jessica, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best with your adventure.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much for your time today.